Hi, my name is Sam Hyun.
And I'm Adam King.
And we're two unapologetic Asian Americans from Boston.
We're seeking $100,000 for a 15.87% stake in our revolutionary sneaker brand.
Finally, did you know that Asian Americans are obsessed with sneakers and are a huge factor in driving sneaker culture and a significant percentage of all sneaker sales?
I'm one of those guys. I live, breathe, and sleep sneakers. I even slept on the street overnight to cop a pair. After working in the sneaker industry for 20 years, I got so tired of hearing that Asian Americans are follower consumers.
And that is why we started 1587 Sneakers. Because 1587 is actually the year that the first Asian is documented to have set foot in what is now known as North America.
So when people say, you're new to this country, you're a foreigner, go back to your country. What? We've been here 400 years.
And so that's why we launched with the Morrow Bay. Not only is the Morrow Bay a throwback to 80s basketball sneakers, Morrow Bay is also the exact landing spot for where that first Asian stepped foot in this country.
Next, we have the AP87. This is a classic tennis silhouette that looks great with any occasion. All our sneakers are made with the world's greatest leather and natural rubber. So your sneakies will always look like a fob. Fresh out the box.
So Sharks, who's ready to walk with us and change the sneaker game forever?
All right.
Welcome back. I am your host, Dave, a 10-year intellectual property attorney dealing with everything from patents, copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, you name it. If it's dealing with IP, I am involved in some form of fashion. So this is an interesting one. I think sneakers, the three things I look for, just kind of back it up and going, how simple is it, how effective, and how effective is it, and how is the market? Now, I think, again, sneakers, manufacturing of sneakers, I think, is it simple? It seems simple, but if you don't have the actual kind of manufacturing prowess, I think it may be challenging. Seems like these guys maybe have things worked out, so I'll give it the simpleness, the simple aspect of it. I'll give it to them. How effective is it? You know, again, they say they kind of using high quality leather and products, so we'll see. Again, typically when you're using higher price material, then the cost goes up. So we'll see how much the sneaker sells for. And then the last thing is the market. And obviously it's a big sneaker market. Is it saturated? Probably so. Just because it's saturated, I don't think that's necessarily bad for these guys. But again, I do think that the sneaker market is very saturated. And it's a big market, but it is saturated in my opinion. So it'll be interesting, man. If you can kind of corner and kind of mobilize, I guess definitely that Asian market as a start, and then go from there. I think you can have something. And I've kind of did a lot of trademark lawsuit breakdowns, and I've seen people and kind of talked about people who've kind of built their company up, whether it's an apparel company or sneaker company, from nothing, and kind of have, they got a decent size a decent sized business that's doing a ton in revenue, hundreds of millions of dollars. So I don't think that it's impossible. I definitely think it's going to be a little challenging, let's just say. And another thing I do want to talk about is, I'm not sure if you saw, the easiest thing to do is to try to come out with a shoe that has some type of resemblance of a popular shoe. So I forget the name of the actual shoe, but the black and gold shoe with the white soles, they look very similar to Air Force One from my perspective, which, again, a lot of people will kind of a lot of people will look at that and potentially purchase it because they're like, okay, this looks similar to an Air Force One. However, on a flip side of that, you can kind of find yourself in a pickle when Nike comes knocking at your door, because they have a trade dress protection on the look and feel, the visual appearance of that shoe. And a lot of people don't know that. They think of trademarks, they think of logos and phrases and words, but you can actually get trade dress protection, which is a subset of trademark. That, again, trademark, we all know that lasts forever as long as you're using it. But you can get trade dress protection on the new or different aspects of an actual product or item such as a shoe. And as you may expect, Nike not only has trademark on a lot of the Jordan shoes as well as the popular Air Force Ones, but they enforce those trademarks. So that's something that you want to be just conscious of, because again, you can, I would imagine, get sales by kind of having a shoe that resembles a more popular shoe that's out there on the market, such as the Air Force Ones or the Jordan Ones, so forth and so on. However, again, these companies such as Nike and other shoe manufacturers, I know Nike for sure has trade dress protection on different aspects of these Air Force Ones, and they can come knocking at your door if you are infringing on that trade dress. So kind of keep that in mind to the extent that you're looking to come up with some type of branding shoe company. And yeah, we'll see what these guys are talking about and how the Sharks kind of respond to it. I would imagine that Mark is out because he doesn't deal with this type of stuff. He's more so technology. Lori, I can see her being out as well. Again, if Mr. Wonderful could come up with some type of a great deal for him, I can see him being in because he doesn't care about, I guess, the space as long as he can make money for him. And Damon John, obviously, this is his kind of field with kind of being shoe and apparel. I know he's doing a lot with Actively Black, so it'll be interesting on whether or not he kind of gets into it with the whole manufacturing of shoes, things like that. But this is definitely his space. And then the other black guy, I got to get his name, but it seems like he's, again, a venture capitalist, and if he sees an opportunity, I can see him getting in as well. So let's get back to it and see what these guys, the Sharks, say, and go from there. Let's go.
Love it.
So in front of you, we have customized sneakers for each of you. So you can smell the leather, feel the quality, feel the softness and the comfort.
Are you guys marketing
looks sweet,
towards
though.
Asians only, or is it just for everyone?
So right now, we're marketing towards Asians. One thing we're super excited about, 30% of our customers aren't Asian American. So we definitely think this has legs with
So
everyone.
walk us through your business model. You're selling direct to consumer?
Correct.
And where are you sourcing the product from?
It says Italy in tag, right?
Italy?
Yeah,
It says made in Italy.
So up until now, we did all our stuff in Italy because they are great for small batches and testing concepts. This is my third sneaker startup, so I understand the importance of having good margins.
What happened to the other two?
All right.
The first one, I was just employee number 4. We went from $800,000 to $8 million.
Then you started the next deal.
So that brand was marketed towards African Americans, and that company was the first time for me.
That's crazy. Look it, man. First of all, I had to stop it on this. First of all, I don't like, for me personally, I don't like kind of businesses where you're kind of ostracizing different areas, customer bases or areas of the market. So if you are like with the Asian shoe brand, I mean, I love the fact that they're owning it. But I mean, I don't like kind of excluding other potential customers in there. But it's crazy to come up with a shoe company that's marketed towards, and people do it all the time. So you can't get mad at people or business owners for doing it. But kind of being an Asian guy and marketing, starting a brand, shoe company in this case, marketing towards the African American community. That's I don't know. That's crazy to me. I'm not sure how I feel about that one. It seems like it maybe didn't work or whatever the case may be. You can see Damon John. He kind of had that look of disappointment on his face. But it's interesting to have a shoe brand as maybe a Asian person or whatever, and then you kind of marketing it specifically to another group. I can definitely see you being an Asian American and marketing the shoe brand to other Asian Americans, which I don't necessarily like the fact that you're kind of ostracizing whether it's Caucasian, whether it's African Americans, whether it's Japanese, like just other potential customers from it. But it's crazy to be an Asian American and have started a brand and market it towards like an African American group. Again, people do it all the time, but it's just something kind of like inherently or fundamentally kind of seems off about that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I think that's crazy as you just hear it, but again, it happens all the time. So let's get back to it, see what he says, and then let's see what the Sharks say about it. Let's go.
Me being in charge, and I learned a lot on what
So it failed miserably.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I'm saying it.
And why is this one going to work and the other two didn't?
Great question.
is our messaging.
Walk me through
So-
that process. I never heard of you. Snap my fingers, I'm Asian now. How are you going to communicate with me?
One of our greatest assets is Sam. So he's actively involved in the Asian American community. So he's-
Online, everywhere?
Sam, tell us about you. What do you do?
Right.
So I was actually
Secret sauce.
born in just outside of Boston to a single mom, and she worked every job under the sun trying to make things work. And it was, the American dream tells you come here, you work hard, you play by the rules, that you can achieve anything you want. But watching her working so hard, working 3 jobs and becoming a small business owner, you just realize that reality wasn't the case for everybody.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I want to dedicate myself to making sure that America lives up to the promise that it said it would. And so for 10 years, I spent my career in both government and advocacy work. So during the wake of anti-Asian hate and the rise in violence, we spoke out a lot, and we made sure that people were understanding what my community was going through.
So do you have a wide following on social media right now?
About 250,000 followers.
How many people
That's
follow the
great.
company's Instagram account?
Roughly 7,000.
Ugh.
Right now, your followers, your lifestyle brand hasn't caught up to the opportunity, but I'm still trying to figure it out.
All right, how much does it cost you to make it, and how much you sell it for?
When we built in Italy, the landed cost was $110. The
Wow.
retail was $288. But starting in 3 weeks, we transferred 90% of our production to Asia. So now the landing cost is $50. We're going to retail at $175.
We wanted to make sure that we also understood our worth
margin.
as a luxury brand shoe, and we price it at that point, but also within reach and accessible to as many people as possible.
When were you guys founded?
We've really been in operation for 10 months.
And what do you project to do for revenue this year?
We're projected for $500,000 this year. In the last 10 months, we've done $240,000.
So have you calculated your customer acquisition cost?
Our acquisition cost is $45, and our average purchase is $170.
You guys have to really build the lifestyle part of this. And that's also going to help you get your customer acquisition costs down, because right now it's too big of a percentage of your profit margins.
Well, what do you need? What do you need?
Well, we definitely have to scale.
So that's cash.
Yep, and
What
be able
else?
to get into retail spaces. So we've already started.
But are you really
conversations.
designed for retail?
Yeah, I
Because,
wouldn't.
I mean,
I don't like
that's
that.
hard to sell in retail. You know,
And you don't get your mission statement out. Listen, I don't think this is the right business for me. I'm really not a very good sneaker
Lord's gonna be out.
person. I mean, to get on the treadmill, that's like it for me. Not the right deal though today. I'm sorry, I'm out.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. We appreciate that.
So guys, the shoe space, which is 80% of your sales, is incredibly competitive. The idea of going
Saturated.
into retail, to me, that's sheer insanity. This isn't for me, I'm out.
Listen, in my world, I look at how many points of failure are there between now and where this business needs to get to. And the ones that have like 3 to 7 points of failure that we can identify and mitigate and structure around, I'm excited about those. And for you guys, there are like 25 things that need to go right. But the most important thing for me is the lack of traction. If you had a bigger community, if you were viral like how he is personally, and you can sell them anything, then I can see this as a lifestyle brand and I will be more excited. But because it's not, I'm out.
Here's where I have a bit of a challenge with it. I've been in this business, and when I did buy the company Etonic, I realized so much that goes into this footwear. And I don't know if I want to take that part of the journey with you, especially if you're going into retail where you'll sell out all your 9.5s and 10s, and then you have a massive amount of inventory sitting there. It's just going to deplete your bottom line. And those are the things that you're going to have to learn before I would be ready to invest in you. So good luck, powerful idea. I'm out, but I love these sneakers.
Yeah, guys, I disagree with Rashawn. You don't have 25 points of failure or problems. You just have to find your right path. And you want to be bigger, bigger, bigger because you want to go into retail because you think that's where you're going to scale.
So you think we should focus on D2C?
Yes,
Have
100%,
Absolutely.
because you
Yeah.
have no margin in this thing. You'll kill it. Bam, bam, bam. You get to control your own destiny. You need to reel it in and just follow the course that is organic for you. So for those reasons, I'm out.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good luck, guys.
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
guys.
The advice the Sharks gave
Yeah, I definitely think that advice that the Sharks gave them, especially Mark, was important, man. I think again, going that D2C route, not having to worry about the retail and the cost that comes with trying to get into retail. A lot of people don't kind of really understand those, and the fact that, hey man, yeah, you have to essentially pay to be in retail. I mean, a lot of the guests that I have on, and I kind of talk through their business and whether or not they want to kind of just continue to sell on Amazon or on their website or go into retail, whether it's a Walmart or a big box retailer. They kind of talk about, hey man, we're not necessarily trying to go the retail route until we know we can succeed, because again, it costs to get on those shelves, and to the extent that you are not kind of producing or selling, once you are on those shelves, then again, it can be it cannot be so good. But another thing I do want to talk about on this, Brandon, we're going to pull up the website because I do want to take a look at the website, is the fact that I was looking as they were talking, I was kind of doing a quick trademark search, and they don't necessarily have a trademark or even a trademark application, a pending application for the term 1587, or for even the slogan or the phrase "leave your shoes at the door." And this, for me, from an IP attorney perspective, is kind of where I kind of come in and play. Again, I was talking to a gentleman. I was at the gym the other day, and I was talking to him, and I'm like, hey man, when you're looking to kind of start a business and you're trying to kind of grow that brand, but you want the brand to be something that you can protect. You don't want to come out with a brand that anybody can just use. You want to be able to come out with a brand that you can actually protect. So this is kind of some good advice for me to you as the audience, is when you're kind of thinking about a name or thinking about a logo or thinking about a phrase, make sure that you have a good probability of that phrase, logo, or a word has a good probability of being protectable. Because if you're not protecting it, it's going to be a lot much more difficult to build a brand. You heard Mark talk about having a lifestyle brand. And again, something that's what people are going to buy into as they're seeing the brand 1587, as they see the different slogans that are associated with the brand. You want people to kind of, again, that's the whole part of a trademark. It helps the consumers identify the source, that being you, of the goods, in this case, shoes. And to the extent that that's protectable, that's great. But you're going to get knockoffs, especially when you are successful and start selling a lot of product. And if you can't even go after somebody for trademark infringement, man, it's going to be extremely tough to kind of really build out your brand. So as you're kind of thinking about, okay, what brand, what's the name of my company, or kind of what brand do I want to have, make sure that it's protectable. And you can just go on test TESS on Google, do a quick trademark search to see if that's out there. If you really kind of want to get a little bit more sophisticated and kind of get advice, call up your trademark attorney or IP attorney and say, hey, I'm thinking about starting a brand, whether it's a clothing company or a product company, and this is kind of what I'm thinking of as the name or the logo or the phrase. Is this something that you think I'd be able to get protected? And they're going to give you hopefully some sound advice, because you do not want to start a brand around something, a name or a logo that's not protectable. It's almost like building a house on a bad foundation at that point, because once you start kind of really picking up steam and selling a lot, then you want to be able to have a moat, if you will, to kind of stop others from trying to sell under your brand name, because people are going to try to do that, especially in China. They're trying to get ahead and trying to get a leg up on you. And to the extent that they're selling your exact same shoe for a fraction of the cost under your exact same name, and you can't even kind of be able to kind of sue them for trademark infringement, man, it's only a matter of time before the business is not, or essentially the business fails. So again, just kind of keep that in mind as you are starting a business and thinking about a name or some type of a trademark phrase or logo or trademark brand. Make sure it's protectable or have a high chance of being protected, because if it's not, then you're building a house on bad foundation. So that's kind of my I guess 2 cents for this one. Let's try to look at the website here. And I'm saying that as I'm bringing up the website, because what made me think about this is the fact that, there you go. When you look at 1587, I don't see the TM or I don't see the R in the circle, which lets me know that, okay, you're using it as a trademark term or a trademark brand. And when I go type in test and type in 1587, it's a ton of things that comes up, which lets me know that they'll probably have trouble trying to get a trademark on 1587 to the extent that they wanted to get it on there. It seems like they've been on some big news shows, the Boston Globe, MSNBC. So it seems like they've been on some nice shows. Again, this is their story. Seems like there's not really any patents that's associated with this, and it seems like they have some pretty solid reviews here, which is cool. Again, obviously we know the Asian community is a big community, so this hopefully this episode comes out, turns a lot of people on, not only just Asian Americans, but also African Americans and Caucasians and other kind of groups here in the U.S., so that people can go follow and kind of build it up. But again, man, if you don't have a brand that's protectable, it's like, okay, what are we really doing? Because if you can't protect it and anybody can just use it and kind of copy you, it's like, again, you're building a house on a bad foundation. So please, 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 if you don't hear anything, if everything kind of went in one ear and out the other from this episode, at least from my perspective, make sure that when you are thinking about starting a company, that trademark term or that brand name that you're looking to go with, it's protectable, because you don't want to start something that's not protectable. This is the same advice I gave to a guy at the gym the other day. When you're thinking about starting a brand name, make sure that term is protectable, because if it's not and anybody can use it or copy it, you're setting yourself up for failure and disappointment. And to the extent that you have investors, I know the investors are going to probably call it out, but that's just not a situation you really want to be in. So hopefully you guys got something out of this video. Please hit the like button. If you're not a member of the community, if you're not subscribed to the community, please hit the subscribe button. We would love to have you. I'm not only trying to give you guys the entertainment value from these Shark Tank episodes or these Shark Tank pitches, but I'm trying to give you guys it from a unique perspective, me being a senior intellectual property attorney, and also trying to provide you guys some value as far as what things to look out for as it relates to intellectual property and kind of dealing with businesses. Again, I'll try to reach out to these guys and get these guys on the podcast for the interviews. If you want to check out other interviews, please go to the Everything Intellectual Property. I've done a ton of interviews from some big names in this and product development and manufacturing and just kind of business in general that I have kind of been able to talk to, typically hour-long interviews, kind of get their journey, tell their journeys, which a lot of times are phenomenal and crazy journeys filled with crazy stories. But again, when we talked about the IP portion of that interview, I try to get my value as a 10-year intellectual property attorney so that people such as yourself who's looking to get off into this entrepreneurial game, you guys have more of a fuller picture from people who've kind of dealt with manufacturing and kind of dealt with marketing and advertising and doing this where maybe a lot of times a lot of these people have a day job that they're still kind of balancing the two. And their day job is something completely different from what the business is around, but they're learning all this as they go. And like I said, I'm kind of giving you my expertise as it relates to the intellectual property aspect of it. And hopefully you have a kind of a better picture, if you will, that you can hopefully kind of start with as you're getting off into your entrepreneurial journey. So again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I can't wait to see you guys next week. Guys, take care. Peace.